Hello everyone. In this video we are going to discuss about looping or iterative statements. Why we need looping or iterative statements? If we want to print a statement or a block of code with a condition, we have an if statements. Correct, right? If that condition is true, we can print a statement or a block of code only one time. If we want to print again the same code, we have to write again that code, copy and paste. Then only we can print that code, right? Without rewriting that code or giving the same condition, we can have an looping statements. Looping means repeating the execution of your body based on a condition. If the condition is true, then it goes inside your loop body and prints the statement. If the condition is false, it exits from the loop body. This is same as an if condition. If we use if condition, we can only print single time a block of code. It is a single line code or a 10 line code, infinity line code, but we can print a single time. By using looping, we can print how many times we want. We need that much time we can print. Okay, now you understand what is the difference between a looping and if statements. By using if statement, we can print only one time. If there is an n number of lines of code, we can print only one time. By using looping, we can print how much time we need. Okay, now see second point. One complete execution of your loop body is known as iteration. Iteration is nothing but an one complete execution of a loop body. If we want to print 1 to 5 numbers, first it will print one, right? Checks the condition. If that is true, it goes inside and prints one number. That is an iteration, one single iteration. 1 to 5 numbers we are going to print by using looping statements. That is in 5 iterations. There we have 5 iteration. In if statement, only one iteration we have. Single time it goes inside a if body and prints the statements. That is a single iteration statement. Okay, now we have multiple iteration statements. There are three types of looping statements: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. I already explained about for loop. I will give link in the description. Check now. Second one, while loop. Third one, do while loop. First, we will see about while loop. While loop provide a mechanism to repeat one or more statements while a particular condition is true. See, looping means repeating the execution of a program or a block of code. If the condition is true, it repeats the execution of a program or a block of code. If it is false, exit from the loop. The same one. Okay, there is no difference between a looping definition and while loop definition. Okay, all the loop definition are same. If the condition is true, it repeats the execution of a program. If the condition is false, it exits from the loop. Okay, now you have to understand the syntax and working principle of a looping statements. Okay, first we will see syntax for a while loop. While condition, within flower brackets we have to write a block of code or statements. Okay, now see the how it works. While loop is also called entry control loop. Why? First it checks the condition. Then if the condition is true, it goes inside and prints the block of code. If the condition is false, it exits from the loop. Firstly, it checks the condition, then only it goes to execute the program, right? So that's why it is known as entry control loop. Because first it checks the condition. If it is true, then only the statements gets executed. Otherwise, the loop will be skipped. Understand? If the condition is true, then only it goes inside a while block, then prints. Otherwise, it skips from the loop. In the while loop body, there must be a statement or operation which makes the condition become false. Otherwise, the loop becomes an infinite loop. Look at the syntax. Here only we are giving condition and block of a code. There where we are giving increment or decrement operation, then only the condition become false or true, right? We have otherwise it always become true. The while loop becomes an infinite while loop. So that's why in body of a while loop we have to give an operation. Then only if the while loop become false, then the while loop become close. Otherwise it become an infinite loop. Okay, You have to understand that is an important point. We have to give operation which the condition became false inside and while body. Okay. Look at the third point. Compared to for loop, while loop gets executed fast. While loop gets executed fast compared to for loop. Why? Because in for loop declaration part, we initializing a variable, checking the condition, and incrementing or decrement operation. Everything we are doing in declaration part only. If anyone don't know about the declaration of an for loop, just see here. This is a syntax initialization semicolon condition semicolon increment or decrement inside a for loop body. This is a body for loop. For loop. This is a declaration of for loop. Okay. In declaration of a for loop, here we are giving initialization, condition, and increment decrement in a declaration of a for loop. So that's why the execution of a for loop becomes slow then compared to while loop. In while loop, we are just checking the condition only. There is no initialization, no operation like increment or decrement. So that's why while loop is execution is little bit faster than for loop. Okay, this is an important point for an interview. They will ask like compared to while loop, for loop gets executed fast, why? Then you have to answer like in for loop syntax in declaration part we have an initialization, condition, and increment decrement. Three operations we are doing in declaration of a for loop. In while loop just we are checking the condition, so that's why it is faster than for loop. That is an answer. Okay. Now look at the fourth point. Comes to while loop only, it checks the condition in the declaration part and increment decrement we are doing in the body of the while loop and initialization of a variable before the while loop gets started. This point I explained. Look at the flowchart for while loop. In while loop, first checks the condition. If the condition is true, it goes inside of a while loop body. In while loop, we have to give must and should operation. The condition became false. Otherwise, it become an infinite loop. If there is an increment or decrement operation inside and while loop body, after that it goes to condition, checks the condition. If the condition is true, it goes inside a statement or a body of a while loop. There is an increment or a decrement operation will do, and then it goes to checking the condition. If the condition became false, it exits from the while loop. In you have to understand in while loop body we have to give an increment or decrement or operation which the condition became false. Otherwise the while loop become infinite loop. Now look at the example for while loop. I was created a class name as while loop, and then public static main method. Here the execution of a Java program starts. Now this is an auto generated code, so that's why it came. Our example is first one is print 1 to 5 using while loop. Second example is print even numbers 1 to 10 using while loop. Okay. Two examples I am going to write it by using while loop. First, we want an initialization of a variable I equal to 1. Okay. Then while syntax. What is the while syntax? While I is less than or equal to 5. Why? Because we have to print until 5. So that's why I was given less than or equal to. We want to give only less than, here we have to change value to 6. Okay. This out. Yeah. I. Now, if I am not given any increment or decrement operation, now see the output. See, infinite loop coming. So that's why only, just wait, I stop the program. Here we have to give I plus plus increment operation. Then only The value of I is incremented for an every iteration 1, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. See the output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gets executed. If I gave I plus plus on top of the printing statement, what will happen? Just see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gets executed. Why? Before printing only we are incrementing the I value. So that's why it was printed starts from 2, 3, 4, 5. If I give I equal to I plus 2, what will happen? First value, anyone guess the first value what will print? 357. Why? Because the I value is incremented by 2. Initially the I value is 1 and incremented by 2, and then the I value is 3. 3 gets printed. Here checks the condition. 3 is less than 6. True or false? It became true. Goes inside. 3 plus 2, what is the value? 5. And then 5 gets printed. Here now the value of I is 5. 5 is less than 6. True or false? It is became true. And come here, and then I value is 5. 5 plus 2, 7. System.out.println 7 gets printed. Then only it going and checking the condition. 7 is less than or equal to 6. Less than 6 is true or false? It is false. So that's why exit from the while loop. So that's why it printed 5. 1 second, I will see the output. 357. So that's why 7 gets printed without checking the condition. 7 gets printed. After checking the condition, it exits from the while loop. Now you understand why 7 gets printed? Now second example. We have to print an even number from 1 to 10. While I is less than or equal to 10, until 10 we have to print. It's out. Wait. Okay. We have to print an even numbers, right? I. We have to pass from int, sorry, from 2. Int even equal to 2. And then here we have to increment I equal to I plus 2. Before that we will print an statement like even numbers from 1 to 10. See output? Even numbers from 1 to 10. 6, 8, 10. Why the output came like that? Here the I used an I value. So that's why at last what is the I value? See output? At last the I value is 6. So that's why it takes I value from 6. 6 is less than or equal to 10. That condition is true. So it came inside and 6 gets printed. 6 plus 2 is 8. And then it checks the condition. 8 is less than or equal to 10. So that's why we got like that. Here we have to change in place of I even. We have to change. Now see the output. Yeah, even numbers from 1 to 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Those are the even numbers from 1 to 10. Before giving, anyone have doubt why we have to start with 2? We can start with 1. Yes, we can start with 1 also, but here we have to give an if condition. We know any number we have to tell it is an even number. It has to divided by 2. So that's why we have to divide even modulo 2 equal to 0. Then it become an even number. Correct, right? Control X, print. Now here we will increment by 1. Even plus plus. This means the even variable incremented by 1 only. See the output, the same output came. If you want to check an value of even for an every iteration. You can see here also value of even variable for, here I will print even, 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 colon, iteration is even. Now see the output. See, first even numbers from 1 to 10 gets executed only one time. Value of even variable for first iteration is 1. We know for first iteration even variable value stores 1, so that's why 1 gets printed. After that checks the condition became false. Correct, right? The condition became false, so that's why even value is incremented by plus 1, it became 2. And it checks the condition 2 is less than or equal to 10, true or false, it became true and came inside. Value of even number for second iteration, 2 iteration is 2. For a second iteration, the value of even is 2. It goes inside, checks the if condition. 2 modulo 2 gives 0 as a result. So that's why this condition is satisfied, goes inside and prints even value as 2. Like that, if it comes to 24th line, even plus plus, 2 plus 1 become 3. It comes here, 3 is less than or equal to 10. It is true or false, it became true. It comes inside and first there is a printing statement. Value of even variable for third iteration is 3. Here the condition became false. Why? Because 3 modulo 2 will give 3 modulo 2 1.05 something, right? That is not in 0. So that's why it doesn't go inside of a if block. So after this if condition, even value gets incremented by 1, it became 4. 4 is less than or equal to 10, true. It goes inside and prints this value. Fourth iteration is 4 and then 4 modulo 2 is 0 and then prints this even value 4 and then value of an even is incremented by 1. Like that only till 10 it comes here unprinted here 10 and then 10 modulo 2 gives an 0 as a result and prints an 10 value is incremented, even value is incremented by 1 and checks the condition 11 is less than or equal to 10, it became false and exit from the loop. Understand? Now look at the third one, do while loop. Okay, do while loop is similar to the while loop. The only difference is that in a do while loop, it checks the condition at the end of the loop. Okay, in while loop, see, while loop provide a mechanism to repeat one or more statements while a particular condition is true. Here see the syntax. First is check the condition. If the condition is true, then only it execute the loop body. Okay. In do while loop, first it prints the statement of a do while loop, then only it checks the condition at the end of the while loop, do while loop. Okay, do while loop can also be called an exit control loop. Yeah, everyone will understand what is exit control loop. It checks the condition at the end of a loop because it checks condition at the exit point of a loop, exit or end point of a loop. Okay, in the do while loop body there must be a statement or operation which makes the condition become false, otherwise the do while loop become an infinite loop. The same point in the while loop also. Here we have to see in while loop, here we have to give some operation which the condition become false. Why? Because in declaration part we are just checking the condition. There is no increment decrement operation. If we are not given or provided any operation, the while loop become infinite loop. See the syntax for do while loop. Do means the do while loop starts and executes the statements or a block of code and checks the condition at the end of a do while loop and ended with a semicolon. There is no increment or decrement operation. In that way, the do while loop also became an infinite loop. So that's why here we have to do some operation. Okay, same as in do while loop. Sorry, while loop. Okay, now you understand. There is nothing difference. Only difference is in while loop it checks the condition at the starting point of an while loop gets started. In do while loop at the end it checks the condition at the end of a loop. Okay, so that's why while loop called as an entry control loop, do while loop called as an exit control loop. See the syntax first. Here the do while loop starts and prints the statements and do the operation. Why? Because we have to give this operation, then only the condition became false. Then checks the condition. If the condition is true, it goes inside of your do while loop, prints the statement and do the operation. After completion of execution of do while loop, it comes to condition part. If the condition is false, it exits from the loop. See the syntax. If you missed semicolon here, it throws in compile time error. Okay, we have to give semicolon at the end of an do while loop. Look the flowchart. Do while loop starts, execute the loop body. First, it executes the loop body. Then it checks the condition. If the condition is true, it goes and execute the loop body. In loop body, we have to give an increment or decrement operation compulsory and checks the condition. If the condition is false, then exit from the do while loop. Now you understand. Must and should we have to give an increment or decrement operation in do while loop body. Otherwise, it became an infinite loop. Okay, now you understand. Now I will give an example for do while loop. See, this is an example. Look at the example for do while loop. Okay, the same example of while loop we are going to write in do while loop. Okay, first hide this one. Now print 1 to 5 numbers using do while loop. Print even numbers from 1 to 10 using do while loop. Okay, first I am going to initialize a variable int I equal to 1 ended with semicolon, and then do syntax for do while loop do, and then we have to print some statements like I, and then at the end of a while loop we have to we have to check a condition I is less than or equal to 5 ended with semicolon. If we are not given semicolon, see here it is showing red line, right? Syntax error, semicolon expected after this token. So we have to give semicolon at the end of your while loop condition. Here there is no increment or decrement operation. Run the program. See, infinite loop is coming. Stop the program output, and then we have to give here increment or decrement. I give increment operation plus 1. See the output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets printed. If I gave I plus plus on the top of the printing statement, guess the output from 2 to 6 gets printed. Why? First, I I value is 1 goes inside a do while loop. Here I value become 2 and prints 2 value, and then here checks the condition 2 is less than or equal to 5 is true or false. It is true, so it goes inside a do while loop, and here the increment value is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Here 3 gets printed, and then here checks the condition 3 is less than or equal to 5. It is true or false. It became true, so it goes inside a do while loop body. Here 3 plus 1 become 4, so in I value is 4, and then prints here 4. 4 is less than or equal to 5. It is true or false. It became true. It comes inside of a do while loop, and then here 4 plus 1 became 5. Here 5 gets printed, and then it comes here and checks the condition. 5 is less than or equal to 5, true or false, it became true, and goes inside a do while loop. 5 plus 1 became 6 and printed 6. Then it checks the condition. 6 is less than or equal to 5, it became false, and exit from the do while loop. So that's why 2 to 6 is gets printed. See the output? 2 to 6 gets printed. Look at the second example. Print even numbers 1 to 10 using do while loop. Okay. Now, even numbers we have to print. First, int even is an variable equal to 1, and then do while loop syntax do printing statement even, and then we have to write here while condition even is less than or equal to 10. Until 10 we have to print, right? If I run the program, see the output? Infinite loop came because there is no increment and decrement operations, so that's why infinite loop came. If I give even plus plus semicolon, ended with semicolon, see the output? 1 to 10 gets printed. Why there is no even numbers printed? Because we are not given any condition. So that's why. One, we have to give an if condition. Even modulo, we are passing the value modulo 2 equal to 0. Then only we will get an even numbers. Otherwise, here we have to pass an even number 2 equal to even plus 2. In these two ways, we can print an even numbers. See 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 even numbers get printed without passing in 2 as an initial value. We have to give here if condition even modulo 2 equal to 0. Then we get 10 even numbers. And we have to increment a value by 1 only. Okay, run the program. Even numbers get printed 2 to 4. For an here we are incrementing a value by 1, so that's why here we have an 10 iterations. If we give here plus 2, here we have an only 5 iterations. See, if I'm sorry, here I'm taking an iteration initially 1 first iteration. Okay, here I'm going to give one printing statement. We have to know how many iterations are going on. Okay, first iteration and value of even is plus even. See, here we have to give iteration plus plus. Then only we know, right, how many iterations will come. Run the program. First iteration value of even is 1. Second iteration the value of even is 3. Here we incremented by 2. Initial value of even is 2. So that's why here we change the value to 2. See, first iteration and value of even is 2. Second iteration value of even is 4. Like that only fifth iteration value of even is 10. If we incremented value by 1, initial value by 1, if I run the program, see here, first iteration and value of even is 1. Second iteration value of even is 2. Second, so that is an even number, so printed even value. Third iteration value of even is 3. Fourth iteration the value of even is 4. And then it is an even number, so printed 4 as an even number. Like that there is a 10 iteration, 10th iteration, and value of even is 10. Now you understand? By using n modulo even modulo 2 equal to 0, and by using initial value as 1 and then initial value as 2. In next session, we will discuss about functions and function execution with a clear and simple examples. Okay, thank you for watching this video. If you want more videos like this, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.